roll call.
John Boyd. District Attorney.
Here.
Moreno.
Here.
Chair.
Here.
Supervisor Self.
Here.
Our new district engineer.
Here.
And interim manager here. For the record, Mata will not be here and Santana's on his way.
Okay, perfect. Can we all please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us all here today. Let us all get home safe and have a joyful meeting. In your name, amen. Can I have a motion to approve of the agenda meeting? Yeah, approve of the budget workshop meeting notes. Second, I need a first. Motion by Chris and second by Roberto. Okay, we're gonna go to A, discuss concerns of FY 24/25 budget. Is that for you, John?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to go to the treasury report, pull out page 5 and 6 too.
5 and 6?
Yeah, that's where we have to move in, what we're looking at.
What do you mean?
Well, there's
Good to see you, sir.
Yep, go ahead. We can continue.
So what this is we have a total of 4 budget meetings. This is the first one where we put some numbers together and get them out here and go over some of the major ones and everybody can look and come back to the next meeting and the next meeting and make changes. Okay, so what we've got here, so on the left is the budget we're proposing right now for the year ending 2025. So this starts this coming October and goes through September 30th of 25. And then we got the prior year budget that we're involved in right now on the right for comparison purposes.
What page are you on? 5? 6.
This is the handout that's separate in the front of the book.
Right behind the agenda.
Yeah. I was just saying page 5 and 6, we may refer to that because that has the total expense, but in the very front of the book is the actual budget. It's just one page.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One page with 2 columns. Okay, so as far as this budget goes, and the revenues we're budgeting the same for 425, no increase or decrease. I'm not going to go to every line, but the ones that, like interest income went way up. We got budgeting $70,000 now instead of $48,000 because the rates have been up for a while. We've been making good money and still will. One thing that's new here is culvert grants. Becky can talk more about that, but this is where we're having to go in and replace some of these culverts that are torn up. And then she applies for money back.
So, out of the resilient grant that we're receiving, the 4 million, because the culverts that we are changing, they are collapsed, and we have to fix it. We don't have a chance to wait for the whole, the process of the rest of the grant and which they're asking for. So they gave us special permission to go ahead and change the ones that are collapsed. But I wanted it to reflect in our budget for next year as well, because there's many that still need to be changed. But as we go, exchanging them, we can, get reimbursed for it.
And, okay, that was the
Yeah.
question I had.
Yeah, that's what it's for, that's what it's for. So that number, it can vary.
About 50,000.
They're budgeting $50,000
For the year.
Yeah, seems low.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, we already started. So as, like, we don't have a choice but to,
No, I get what I'm saying. The amount seems to be low for replacing.
and that's why we brought it to the board, because again, I didn't want to put it, it's gonna reflect our budget, so it's gonna look like we're gonna be over,
If you look down, the actual budgeted expenditure is under, it's under, it's about, about 10 items down in expenditures. It says canals, levees, and culverts. And you said last year we only had like 20,000 in there. Now we got 70,000 in there because we're trenching 50,000 culverts, of which, some of which we won't get all the money back. So the budget can get 40 back. So, like I said, these are just preliminary numbers. We've got several meetings to think about and get changed.
How many culverts do you have to replace right now? That you know of?
46.
46.
And out of the 46, there's 2, which we just changed one on Nato, the 36.
They all the same size?
No, no. The rest, 40, 41,
36.
46. 46.
And the Dati?
No.
In Dati?
Yeah, the 36, that's
36.
36, but I'm saying those are 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
6.
okay. Yeah, so 6 of them are 36 at 36. But the rest are the 18 by 30s. And I already, this is our first report that we sent and submitted for the grant process, and they're gonna come out and they're supposed to check what we've done to then go ahead and start the reimbursement process. I don't know how long it's gonna take them. So that's why I was just throwing numbers out today during this meeting to see, how fast of a response we're gonna be able to obtain the reimbursement money, the funding. And then that kind of gives me a better, outlook on, we can bump it to this, because then we can kind of get this back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One thing I want to bring about the culverts, I don't, probably get Steve to look into them and see if they're undersized and see if the 18s is going to be sufficient, if they have to be a little bit bigger, maybe 20s or, because 18s kind of, they might be undersized too, and as far as like changing the elevations of the ditches, because every time you go out, you cut to them, by the time you get 1,000 feet down, you're already, it's almost the size of a canal, it's hard to maintain. I was wondering if, maybe we just did cut one instead of 2, it has a little bit more of a swell to maintain. Before you get too far, because if it ends up being that they are undersized, we don't have to go back and do it twice or, order a bunch of 18s by 20s.
That's why I haven't ordered anything, this is
Okay.
stuff that we have in stock.
Okay,
So I was just trying to, use what we have,
yeah,
and try to get something back for what we do have,
yeah.
That's where I'm at, so we haven't ordered anything else.
Yeah, no, just in case if we end up ordering them and we find out down the road they're undersized, then we pay
Yeah,
expensive amount again.
I agree with you.
Okay. Go ahead, Tom, continue.
The only other thing in the revenue that's big change is we had that $250,000 budgeted for about 2 or 3 years for capital lease on the trucks. So that's gone now. We've actually bought 2 trucks and paid for them already, and that capital lease is an issue anymore. So that's it for the revenue side. The expenses down here, I'll mention some of the big ones. The $125,000 discounts and commissions, that's strictly because the taxes went up, so there's more discounts and there's more commissions. So the fourth one down is controversial up in the air, whatever you want to do. The security for the reservoir, it's still got 50,000 in it. Maybe you can tell me what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, in regards to the permit for South Florida, the water, what we've been talking about with the air and all that, we need to have some form of security. So I just told John, leave it there, and once we, speak about it, and if you guys decide to take it out, that's fine. I just told him to leave it in there because, again, they're gonna want security, monitoring inside and, of the reservoir. So,
Mr. Chair, can I, I'm gonna talk about
Yes.
that later.
yeah.
Some progress has been made with our permit, but there needs to be an item here. One of the things that they are requiring is fencing and posting. And in talking to the engineer and our consultant about it, it's gonna be a big number, like over 100,000.
Okay, let's let
So that should be
John,
under some.
let John finish going through it, and then we'll save the questions for the end.
Okay. All right, so the maintenance and rebuilding the roads, we're doing pretty fair on that. So right now, we've left that at 390, same as last year. Now, what was added at Mr. Notta's request, if you go down to capital outlay, you've got a new item, resurfacing paved roads. You've got 100,000 in there for the next year. So then going back up, I've already talked about the culverts and stuff, from 20 to 70, because the replacements we're doing, hopefully we'll get back. Now, supplies, I moved down a little. Other contract services, I moved down a little, but since the way this is coming out in the year, golf tournament, we got revenue at the top is 30,000, and the expenses is 10. This election, it will make about 20,000 on the golf tournament.
Plus,
The next 5 there are different professional services, including grant management. I left them the same, because everything seems somewhat the same. The fuel is the same. The budget has been pretty well kept. Change that. Repairs to equipment vehicles, left that the same. Again, some of these that were leaving the same, and look at, that's why I said we could take out this other page and either take it with me or look at it, because this shows how we're doing through 7 months compared to the budget. So if we're doing okay, then it's still on the same level as last year. So insurance was up a little bit. So look at 69.75 for that. Most of the others. Now on the salaries, wages and all that, I just did the 3% that we raise each year. We're actually, doing okay on that according to the budget, so might not even need that. Because Romania gone, that saves money and all that, but by next year, that will probably change. So I put 3% in there because that's really, we didn't add anything extra or subtracting on that. The summer camp, we're still going to do that. So that 250,000, I've already talked about, the capital outlay goes away. For the trucks, because we already bought 2 trucks. And the next one we'll do, I guess it's on the agenda, there's $220,000 budgeted to buy a dump truck. So you guys, to where we go with that. That's in there for now. Capital outlay, general equipment, raise a little. Capital for the clubhouse, that's another one that I'm not really sure what direction everybody wants to go with that. And that can change. We talked about the researching and paved roads, 100,000. Debt service on the bond, that's a known fact. You can see the John Deere thing is going, as far as they will be next year. We're just playing it, John Deere will be gone. And the bond principal is known fact. Caterpillar Financial will just have one more payment in that year. And after 2025, that'll be paid off. There's one more annual payment there, so that's $49,131. Debt service, that's the interest on the bond, and that's a known fact. 80,000 is in contingency, not before. Can be used for other things. So where we're at right now is we're budgeting excess of revenue expenditures of about $193,000. Of course, if you cut back on some of these expenses, that'll raise that. But that's the initial calculation there. So we make about $193,000. Fund balance is about $1.4 million. So we have a fund balance of about $1,588,000. But as you remember, a lot of that fund balance is reserved for casualties, reserved for 3 months operations and so forth. And in the treasurer's report, you can see right now we're at $1,062,000 of unreserved fund balance at the end of August 30th. So that's some initial numbers to start working on. You can go over stuff now, or I suggest you take this with you along with these 2 pages that I'm going to pull out of the treasurer's report.
Yeah. I think what John proposed regarding the reservoir, whatever that, John, do you have a ballpark of what it would be so that if he adds it to the budget for our next budget meeting, we can see a reflection of that in the budget so that the board can make some adjustments or opinion on that?
Yes, sir. I just handed, I recommend that just add something on there to say SFWD permit requirements. The engineer is getting specific numbers, but right now, 100,000 is a rough number. All signage, fencing, monitoring, we have to do a 5-year monitoring plan. That should capture most of it.
I think the board would be fair with that, having that added on to the budget so that you guys can see that reflection on there for the next budget meeting, the increase of that. If there is no
About 50,000 is in security right now. How does that relate to the?
I know that the board had voted to remove the security completely. If that it is a requirement that we have to have security at a later date or having to rehire and put security there, that's something that the board will have to vote on. But I still want the board to see it reflected in the budget because it's something that is going to have to be voted on with the board. So just leave that there.
if there's no further questions or follow-up with our treasurer, we're going to move into B with discuss on lowering of taxes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sal.
So, you know, we ended up in a problem last year because of the spending of the year prior. It was for, how much was it, John, that we ended up going over? How much was it?
Going over.
Well, whenever we had to raise the tax, we had to raise the taxes because of the overspending.
Raise the
Had to pull money from the reserve.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've got, for the last 3 years, whatever our loss has been is, in '21, we lost $434,000.
Yeah.
In '22, we lost $728,000. And '23, our unaudited figures were that we lose $421. So we're talking about losing $500,000 in 3 years.
That was why taxes were increased because
Right.
the auditor said our
Right.
rainy day fund got eaten up.
Right.
We have to
So the
rebuild it.
taxes were $795,000.
And the reason why it ended up getting utilized was because the board told the manager that, you know, he ran out of money for the year, and then it said you have money in the reserve, and end up becoming, in the day, it was $300,000-$400,000. So the raising of the taxes was to fix that problem. So my proposal is that if we're already out of that problem, to retract back the $100 that was increased on the community for an issue that the board formed. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but to some people it is a lot. And I think it'll help us better manage what's being done with the money, because I know now we have probably about another $500,000 extra, and I don't think that, I mean, I know it could help, but it's gonna cause maybe some bad habits, because you know how it is, they go up $100, get 500,000, and then from there, taxes usually never go back down. And if,
The thing is, that if you look at these budgets right here, like we're budgeting and making $192,000, and that's before the $100,000 for the permit. If we took away the $795,000 that represents the $100 piece, we would be budgeting for a $600,000 loss.
So, remember this, guys, I mean, we're looking forward to grow this Montura. And we have to have money in reserve. If I'm not understanding the matter, you know, it's gonna take another about $250,000 to get out of 292. So we need to start saving for that, so I'll suggest to keep that $100 still there and keep building that up. Because in the future, we need to get out of, you know, being a center control by the water district, Central District. So we need to look into the future. I understand some members from the community have been here for so long, but there's new people coming into Montura. Every single day, you turn around every corner, you see a for sale or a lot being cleaned up, or a single, a wide, a double wide, or even a brand new home built up in the area. So we need to, you know, keep that in back of mind that we're growing fast.
yeah. Well, my thing is that so my position on all this is that every time that, it's not just this board, it's any board across Florida, or any type of committee that spends more money than they should, the community always ends up paying for it. At some point, there has to be a check and balance to kind of stop that. And usually you never see anybody retract back any tax that they, you know, increase on. So, you know, I just thought it'd be a pretty good way for us to retract the money back, and then we're gonna have to really pay attention to the budget. You know, it's just an idea. You know, it was a temporary fix for a problem that was done by the board. So, and the community paid for it, you know, so.
I understand that,
Yeah.
you know, we all gotta pay for it.
It's not just a temporary thing. I mean, all the costs are still up, have still increased. So we don't need to raise it anymore for a while. I mean, it looks like this will be, it's not like we're going to raise it every year, but it's also not not like a one-time shot that you can back up on.
Right. I just, my thing is, you know, I hate whenever I see just reckless spending of money, and then whenever somebody screws up, then the board says, well, you know what, we're gonna pass it on to them to pay. So there's never, we keep talking about checks and balances. Who keeps us in checks and balances? Always says, guys, we messed up, let's just raise the taxes. You know, I think a lot of people get tired. It's not just here, but it's everywhere. And I understand what you're saying, that we are moving forward. But, you know, like I said, it's just something that I thought that'd probably be a good idea. But if we retract it back, we don't have that money to play with, then we're going to have to look at the budget a lot better. Because, you know, the prior boards did not pay attention to the board or to the budget. That's why they ended up in that position. You know, so.
When was the last time that we increased taxes? How many years ago?
Last year?
Well, we went for like 18 years without increasing.
It was
We
20.
increased in
It was 20 years,
before
yeah.
this.
It was 20 years the board didn't increase.
And now we have a board that want to move forward. Before, that again, that's history. We cannot bring the history, you know, into the present. We need to move forward with the new board that we have, that we're looking forward to be a city, a county, municipality, a village, that we're looking into that. And of course, keep track of the budget. Last year was a disaster completely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now we are, I mean, especially myself, keep track of it very closely.
Because the only two board members that was not on the board for that was me and you. The other board members was on.
That's fine.
Which is-
we plug, you know, into this area.
Right.
We human beings, we change.
Yeah. No, I know, but like I said, it's just an idea. I could throw up a motion if somebody wants to second it, good. If we don't.
Remember, this is a workshop,
Yeah.
there's no voting, and this is the first of several workshops. The purpose is for you guys to tell him, do this, add this, subtract that, but you will in August, you vote, you have to vote on, every year you vote on taxes. And so there'll be a time when there'll be an actual vote on taxes,
And-
that's in August.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just to keep that in mind, Chris, if you want to look at the taxes in Clueston, LaBelle, Pioneer, countywide, Montour is the only area within Hendry County that self-sustains itself. We pay the most in taxes from the average of utilities that are provided by Hendry County, meaning nothing. But with that being said, all of the events that are held at our clubhouse, all of the maintenance work is all done by us. If you go to LaBelle, they contract a lot of stuff out with the county. You go to Clueston, they contract a lot of stuff out with the county. Same thing in Harlem. We're the only ones that do 110% of all of our in-house work here. The only work that we had to vendor out was the asphalt work because one, we don't have the equipment. But a lot of the amenities that we do offer our community is nowhere in the county, including LaBelle or Clueston. There has been a handful of constituents that were concerned about the increase in taxes, but the fight that they're seeing is we do increase taxes, we provide them more services at the clubhouse, and we are fighting the county to getting some of that money back from them that they get from the overall of the property taxes. And that's the fight that a lot of landowners and people who do pay taxes here in Montura are fighting is we pay all this in taxes, but we only pay Central County a utility fee. So explaining the increase in taxes and explaining the increase of a utility fee are two different. Yes, taxes has increased countywide, and Montura is the one to suffer the most because us as the board, we have had that fight every year why we're increasing taxes. And when we take that fight up to the county, oh, we're gonna make sure we give you more services, we're gonna make sure we do this, and they don't. I've been here for years, you've been here your whole life, and you have seen yourself that there has never been the amount of services or anything being provided in these past years that the board has offered the community at the clubhouse. Probably, yes, in the past they had fairs or they had the hay rides and certain things like that. But when I mean services, as in serving our community 100% and only our community without the county or anyone's help, hasn't been heard in years. And I think, yes, we do need to find a spot where we can be comfortable with doing what we have to do to serving our community as a board, and as a government entity to Montserrat, but we also have to find that middle ground. Does this utility fee work? Or do we need to become a town? We can keep the board, we can, as constituents, we can pick how we want it to be governed, but we need to find some alternative minus this utility fee. Because running a business, running multi-million-dollar properties with the inflation in the US and then the inflation in our state, and plus the county always increasing money, there's no way that we're not going to be able to not increase taxes. Now, the $100, yes, that was to help us stay stagnant, but there is going to be an increase. There's nowhere in all 50 states that they have not raised taxes at least by $50 to $75 to even $1,000 in some areas.
And I'm okay with that. The thing is, like you said, my main point is,
Budget control.
whenever you don't watch the budget, and then you mess up, and then the community has to pay for it, that's where I have a problem. Because I understand inflation, because we stayed at 300, so we had a line item for 360, and it has to jump up 10,000. Either you're gonna have to move something, and that's where the budget, you have to cut out. There's a lot of stuff in this budget, we gotta start looking through and start cutting, because I'm the type of person, before you start raising taxes, what could you cut out? Because there's wasteful spending everywhere. And I'm not trying to sound bad about it, saying that they're just doing whatever they want, but there's certain areas that could be, cut out, put somewhere else to go more towards that effort, like roads and drainage, because that's the main thing that we have to do is roads and drainage. Recreation ends up coming in third place. And that's just my position, what I feel about that.
I agree.
I just don't like the community to pay for something like that. If we have to raise taxes, great, but because we're gonna save our heads, no.
Agreed. Okay, since there's nothing else or anyone have any other questions, we're going to move to section C of our budget workshop, new dump truck. Ms. Hernandez?
I just wanted you guys to, I gave you information. I got a quote on what a dump truck is looking like new. It's in your, it's from the Heat Sport. I asked them to give me, something similar to what we have here. Huh?
The Peterbilt, that's the best.
Yeah. Well, and I have other quotes that I'm gonna pull as well.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
this is just one that I wanted you guys to look at, okay? Just to show you that, we have the two, but we have a lot of issues with the one that they purchased way back in the day, the
Oh,
green.
green one, yeah.
And we do need to replace it before we continue to spend money on it. So, again,
What's the biggest issue that it has?
Mhm.
The green dump truck.
Jose, the green dump
The
truck.
axle, the back axle.
Yeah, the back axle. They're very expensive.
Yeah, I know it had a lower gear, only do like 45.
Well, back in the days, we had the transmission changed. And we brought that to the board, and that was back in 2018, I believe 2019. That was almost 50 grand.
Yeah.
And again, every time you look at it, it's the wear and tear, and that body does not go to that truck that was put together.
Yeah, I know, because I was here whenever we drove from Miami, Hialeah all the way down here, only do 45, and it was like 500 million miles on it,
No better than that.
and the excavator too, that was a bad deal.
But again, I'm just requesting it to be on our budget, so it shows that we're gonna need one eventually. And we save money on the 5 trucks, so we got the 2 that we needed. And so I'm just saying, like, if we can start allocating it, the funds in other areas to help.
What I was gonna also say, have we looked into some of the government equipment, that the federal government and the state usually give away or donate?
Oh,
Yeah,
And some even auction it off.
Yeah, but a lot of that, you're inheriting the problems that they're letting go also.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
But for another,
Because I know a lot of the equipment that was purchased prior was through the sheriff's,
Yeah.
or association or something like that.
Yeah.
And most of all of it was used. And there was a lot of repairs that I seen that had come out of that.
Yeah, and that's
I'm sorry. So the question I have is, if we save on it now, it gives us more of a year, this is just theoretical, I don't know. You're saying, let's say within a 4-year span, our cost of repairs is more than it would be to do a payment on a newer truck.
If that truck dies, that's it. We have one dump truck. And that's what we've been working on right now, is that I have 2 different groups working in 2 different areas trying to accommodate our community. So if one of the trucks, because the yellow one that we have also is at its limit. So I'm just, again, this is me putting it out there that we're gonna need to replace one of these vehicles.
You have 4 dump trucks?
No, we only got the 2 and then the yellow one,
You have the green one?
The black one?
Black one,
the yellow one.
yellow one. The long truck?
No, that's the,
Because that's another thing that we gotta look into, is there's the excavator that's,
yeah, well, we have all those other stuff that, the list of equipment to see if we can get rid of and sell. That's gonna be also something that I wanna bring up.
when do you plan on doing that? Because I know the excavator's been sitting out there for a while, the
Yeah.
long truck's been sitting out there for a while.
Well, I was gonna bring up the list last month, but we were at the training and we didn't, I couldn't touch on it, but I do have a list that I'm gonna forward to you guys, okay? And then, maybe we could come up with the numbers, to get rid of a lot of that stuff. Like you said, the big excavator. And there's also the white flatbed that's,
The long truck.
yeah, it's gone,
That's over.
yeah.
What's wrong
And-
with the excavator?
I want to say the 450, it was
The
the
engine.
engine. It was the engine. That's the engine.
Have you checked on getting a new truck versus spend this kind of money?
Say that again?
Have you checked to get a new truck versus spend this kind of money?
This one's new?
That is a new one.
Yeah, 2025.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Peterbilt. Okay, if there is no questions after that, we're going to move into our public comment section. This public comment section is only for our business budget workshop. So if there's nothing for that at this time, I'm going to take a 10-minute recess. Okay? 10-minute recess.
Vice Chair?
Here.
C3?
Here.
Chair?
Here.
For the record, C5 is not here,
Okay.
and C4?
Here.
The district engineer?
Here.
And interim manager here.
Alrighty, can I have a motion to open new business?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Roberto. Do I have any public comments at this time?
Yeah.
Yours? Christopher?
Yep. So I was here at the last meeting to talk about the swells. And I said, I came over here, I talked to you guys, and then a couple of days after they went, and they started the job again, but it's still not done. And I was wondering, I did send out an email and I was answered saying that you guys can give me Becky, specifically, you can give me a timeline, which I understand. But then I sent back another email saying, when will you guys be back? So when will you guys be back?
I couldn't tell you because we're changing that culvert right by Dado.
Okay.
And between Bald Cypress and it's like I expressed to you. Right now, I'm trying to get these done because these culverts are important for the drainage. And I do have people, a team of 2 working on roads, but it's not swells.
Yeah.
And the swells is more important. And we're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna get back to you. I just can't tell you exactly because like I said, the culverts are very, that one right there specifically, and there's another one that is part of the main canal. And if we let it go anymore, which is Palm and Home between,
There's a whole bunch of projects that you guys, and even some, if I'm not mistaken, you guys started, you guys are trying to finish now, right? But part of the meeting was that you guys paid a whole bunch of money in overtime, right? That's what you guys, part of the meeting, what I was listening. Like, there's been a lot of money in overtime, and if I'm not mistaken, like 25% of the budget goes into this, right? It's
we
been working on it.
haven't really done a lot of overtime. We just barely started.
Whatever it is, rainy season is coming, which is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
And my road is started already, you guys started, and I can't come, so I have
Where
to.
do you live at? Where do you live?
I live on 525 North Arboleda Street, and every time I have to kind of come over here for you guys to complain. I have to come here, I have to complain for you, somebody to go over there for a couple of days to kind of like, oh, this is what I'm getting. Oh, let's just go there a couple of days, you'll be quiet, forget about it, and it doesn't, my thing is that it needs to get done. You guys started the project, you didn't finish the project needs to get done. And now it ends up that I complain about the culverts, and then across the street, they're gonna have a perfect drainage now for the rainy season. Beautiful drainage right across the street. And me, the guy who came here, who got this started, is still stuck underwater. While paying taxes, if you guys can't keep up with it,
Chris,
right? And you guys, because part of the meeting
I'm
was.
gonna interrupt you. If you do your due diligence, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions.
Yes.
Because it's not a debate. We as the board, we're here to hear you out and solve your problem. You addressed it and brought it to the board. We gave it to our interim manager to
Yes.
address it. It has been a complete month. You brought it to our attention again that the job is not done. She did reply back to your emails, from what I'm hearing, correct?
To one email, yeah, the
Okay.
second one I still haven't heard back.
Okay, if her office deals with the day-to-day, we deal with overseeing what her office mismanaged. So you have to give it to her. Now, it has been a month, we are dealing with a lot of other projects, as she just informed the board.
Okay.
If nothing happens from that point, after you repeatedly asked her and she's giving you the same answer,
Okay.
then I understand your frustration, because a lot of other residents and landowners do come into the office.
I've been dealing with this for 3 years.
Okay.
And my frustration comes from being jumped around by her and the office here, saying, oh, Nick, no, you don't have to complain to us, you have to complain to the state. No, you don't have to complain to the state, you have to complain to agriculture. No, it's
Christopher?
agriculture. Now I know that it's on them. And it's been 3 years.
I understand your frustration, but this was brought to our attention as of last month. We
Yes.
have to give her and every single constituent that does come up here the due diligence and letting them deal with the day-to-day.
Okay.
We hear you out. Address the board. Don't address them unless it's a question that you want to ask them, which you did.
Yeah.
So yes, we are aware that they are working on your culvert. She did answer your question and stating, yes, that they're going to make sure that they get it done. She didn't give you a time frame.
No,
So that's something that I know many of us will follow through with her, because we did speak with her saying, hey, let's get this issue addressed, because you did been dealing with this for 3 years, okay? We don't want to argue, we don't want to have hostility out here. We want to make sure that we respect everyone and we address the issue,
Of course,
okay?
I'm a little passionate about this because again, I've been dealing with this for 3 years. Not only about dealing with it
What
for
is
3
the
years,
problem in the ditch? I just want to find out.
jumping around is
No,
a problem.
but what is the problem in the ditch?
The ditch is, so I live right across the street from a tilapia farm. They drive semi-trucks. The semi-trucks have destroyed the street. The weight of the semi-trucks,
That's a horse club.
horse truck, yeah. The semi-trucks destroyed because their entrance is right in front of my corporate. So their trucks, before I put a post, because yeah, you guys are gonna go out there and see this big post there. I put a post, I even had to put barbed wire on the post because they keep hitting
I
the
know
post.
what you mean.
Right? So I had to put a post after calling here for 3 years, calling this office and asking for help. I was told that it was the state, that I had to call the state. After dealing with the state and them jumping around through all their hoops, come to find out, they even send it to their lawyers, it's on them to take care of the
So you
streets.
it's
on Central County to take care of it. So I'm just here to hold you guys accountable for what needs to get done.
We're gonna do our best.
I would appreciate it, because honestly, I came to the office, I complained, I even asked, do I need to find out who lives on the streets that are getting fixed? And then somebody went out there. I come here to the office, I complain here at the meeting, they go for a couple of days, they do a little patchwork, and then they leave it alone. Rainy season is on top of us, and I was expecting this to be done before rainy season, like I was told. Now it's on top of us, it's a week away, 2 weeks away. That's not gonna get done.
We're
You guys
gonna
are
go
still
with-
dealing with halfway projects from other times, because people keep complaining and you guys don't finish projects because you run out of budget or whatever it is. Now,
Let me tell you this.
I just want to explain myself to you.
Yeah,
I understand what you're going through. I live for 5.5 years, 360 on the side.
yeah,
Rainy season, when I beach, you see them out.
yeah.
So because we don't have enough drainage for the beach to go all the way down to the house. So I understand your point of view.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go west to help you out.
I appreciate it. It's just like I said. Now I know who. So
No, it's not her.
You know you guys. It's you guys. I'm going for that. I sent out
We're
emails,
gonna-
and I couldn't CC down around the Santis because I don't think that would make a big difference for me. But you know, I did CC all of you guys here.
We're gonna try to help you.
I appreciate it.
So, since the time he came last month, did any of y'all go down to his road?
Yeah.
What'd you see?
It needs this one,
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to look out, like you have a horse, that,
We're in Horse Club in North Arboleda.
Yeah.
possibly.
So there's a big rock, as soon as you come on, there's a big rock sitting on the,
No, the rock has been removed now.
somebody moved
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, they went, like, after I came,
Okay.
in the plane, they went, they finished the one across the street,
Yeah.
and now they
Was
took
the
the
culvert-
rock, and it
Was
hasn't
the
been,
culvert moved too? That was at the end, that was in the middle of the swell?
I'm not sure, but there's signage back there, there's trees
Yeah.
back
Because
there.
when I went down
The
there,
trees are right there.
there was a rock and then the culvert that was sitting on the opposite side, that was taken out and thrown on the other side. And that was supposed to be removed. And one of the things is an obstruction, you know, and one of the things is that rainy season, we're just a couple weeks out. So rainy season, we're supposed to have a pretty bad rainy season this year. So I don't know if it's gonna get done before then, but it'd be,
We're, like I said, right now, the two major issues.
yeah.
When we did, because again, as the guys were working on the swell, we ran through the canals to see which culverts, if any, were collapsed. And the two major ones are Dado and Horse Club, and we have to do that because it is a canal,
Right.
and the other one that we're gonna have to do on Palm. So until that doesn't, we have to get that done. Then we can continue with the swell. But like I said, we have to do those, and they're the 36.
Yeah, one of the things that really needs to stay away from is starting not fully executing the project and finishing it. But what ends up happening, you have a lot of little fires everywhere, and then whenever rainy season comes, it's gonna be a disaster. Same thing like a lot of the trees that are on the canal banks now.
Yeah.
We're a couple weeks away from hurricane season. If we start getting a lot of rains and you have any type of blockage down the canal, you're not taking an excavator down there. And that's type of problems that you can kind of create without, you know, realizing it. That's why I asked if, you know, some of the, not to jump off the subject about his road and stuff, but, you know, the canal banks, that there's tons from block to block, there's debris on it. Hurricane season comes in, it washes into the canal. You know, we're gonna end up in a pretty bad spot.
And I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
Now,
I
but
understand about the
again,
culverts, I understand that part.
the culvert is, we're water, and we have to make sure that the water's running. And that's the most important thing, and then maintenance. So if there's a major culvert that is collapsed,
Sure.
I have to stop everything, because again, we had teams that were going back and cleaning out the canals, and people would start, a few guys picking up the trees behind them, while the other ones are still working on dirt roads, trying to get those done. But when you have this going on, we have to stop.
When did y'all start that Horse Club and Arboleda project? Estimated, year ago?
No. The Arboleda one, I didn't start last year. Chris had issues way before with the fish farm.
Uh-huh.
And they were, and then he addressed Flacco several times about it. And the issue with inside the farm has nothing to do with us. And that's what I would explain to him. What goes on in there, but the swells belong to us.
Correct.
Okay, but everything that all happens inside and the truck, that while it's going in and backing up, we don't have, anything to do with that. If he has an issue with the trucks and them running over his stuff, he has to report it to the sheriffs. The sheriff has to keep track of that.
But you guys do have a responsibility if the trucks destroy the.
Come up here.
I'm sorry, but you guys do have a responsibility if the trucks destroy the runway. So if the truck is not on the street and he's destroying the grass, which is what it belongs to you guys have a responsibility to knock on those doors, ticket them or whatever it is, it's on Central County to do. Not on the state, not on agriculture, not on inspectors, it's on Central County to make sure that they don't destroy the culverts and the swells on there. And that's not what I was being told. I was being told that I had to call agriculture to deal with it, when in fact it wasn't, it was Central County.
So I think there was a miscommunication from our office. The board, I can see a lot of the board is, including myself, is very attentive to this.
Yes.
And I can see that our interim manager is addressing the issue. There is another big red ticket item, is what I call it, for the district that she's dealing with. I think that our office can do better with communicating that to you, letting you know, hey, we're working on this, that, and giving you a date. I understand that you've been dealing with this for a long time, but dealing with the district, red ticket items come first. It's for the majority of the herd compared to one. So yes, I understand. I'll personally myself will speak to her and have her giving you a date that they will go back out there to complete that job, so that you won't have to worry about that.
And again, the frustration comes from that. You know, when we first started, the guy got sick, then he went on vacation, then it was, you know, I got every excuse on the book from this office, so I would love to just get this fucking, like, I mean, it's a big deal, not to you guys, but it's a big deal to me.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of money getting Montura, raising my man up, so that now when the rainy season comes, all the money I spend in is for nothing. Like, it's just really washed out.
Yeah, we just gotta make sure a lot of these projects that get started, that they either get completed and finished off, because if not, then, you know, because if they do half of yours and then a couple of other ones, then, you know,
And people shouldn't have to come in here and complain about this.
It's not complaining, it's addressing it to the board.
It's addressing, yeah, I wanna, dude, at the point where I'm at, they could complain, it is what it is, whatever, I need that.
But thank you, Christopher. I'll make sure that we give him let's make sure we give him a deadline of when we'll complete that project, before next month's meeting, so that we have some kind of due date to communicate with him.
Like I stated, once we're done
Yeah.
with our major culverts, then I can move forward and continue this one.
What's your COVID study need to do?
This one literally just took us a day, but it took us from 7 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, and it took 6 people out there. And we only have approved 9.
And the other one will be about the same date?
It's gonna be the same thing. So that's what I'm stating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move forward into old and new business. Section A, before we go into the section, we're gonna let everyone discuss their section. Once we complete all the way to H, then we can ask follow-up questions regarding that, because we are running a little bit late today. So we're gonna go to section A, discuss and vote on resolution of district engineer and contract for Steve Dobbs. John?
I'll take that. So, to make the district engineer actually the district engineer, you have on your agenda a professional services agreement with Mr. Dobbs. So, Mr. Dobbs is with a company called New Lines Land Consultants LLC. He has executed the professional services agreement. It is for $2,700 a month, based on talking to Becky. The budget for the prior engineer was around $48,000.
Yeah, it was 50, I think. around
Yeah,
there.
about 50.
Mhm.
But that was also included extra things beyond just day-to-day district engineer work. So we think when you add the extra work, the budget is going to be about the same for Mr. Dobbs. So it's not an increase or a decrease, it's pretty much going to be about the same. So there's a $2,700 monthly compensation. There's a scope of work that's attached to the agreement. Any professional services that fall outside the scope of work, he will be paid in accordance with the fee schedule that's attached. We would, of course, reimburse him for any out-of-pocket expenses directly related to his work. We would reimburse him if he has to retain any sub-consultants for geotechnical work. If something arose like that, he would have to refer it. We'd obviously reimburse him for that. He'll be invoicing us for his work, and then he'll be paid on that invoice. And that's pretty much it. It's a fairly standard professional services agreement Mr. Dobbs has executed. I'm excited personally having him here because I think you're going to see a heightened level of support for district projects, because not only is it Mr. Dobbs, but he brings behind him a company of other professionals. And we're now at a turning point. You know, if that $4 million comes down, there's going to be a lot of work that's needed to get done. Permitting work, design work. And so he's really come at the right time when we will need an engineer to be all in. And so that's for your consideration.
You need us to
I
vote
need
on
you
it.
to approve the professional services agreement with Mr. Dobbs as district engineer.
Okay, we have a, we need a motion. Do I have a motion? Motion by Chris, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Bruno. Passes. That's, that's it for A, John?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to go to B, discuss and vote on proposal for SFWMD.
So I'm passing down an aerial. This is the, so as you know, for almost 2 years now, we've been in a permitting process with South Florida Water Management District. Yeah.
Okay.
It's for Becky. So we've been trying to get a permit. As you know, the district cited us for unpermitted wetland impacts in the reservoir. So this map, so the areas that you see that are outlined in the yellow line, those are the upland areas. So in the reservoir, we have about 460 acres of upland areas. Those are areas that could be used for ATV use and things like that. You see in the middle of the map, there's an area that's crosshatched. It's entitled Preserved and Enhanced Wetland. Okay, the problem we have is we have these two big upland areas, but they're not connected. So we want to connect them. So in order to connect these two big upland areas, we have to dredge and fill a wetland right here. So the district requires us to provide mitigation if you're impacting a wetland. The mitigation is going to be this 7.36 acre preserve and enhancement area. We're going to have to put a conservation easement over it, which means it can never be dredged or filled forever. In perpetuity, it gets recorded in the property records. Again, it's 7.36 acres. We're going to have to remove the exotics, regrade it so that it will revegetate naturally as a wetland. The district, as I've mentioned,
Say goodbye to old costly cake.
they're ready to move on with this permit. They have other things they'd rather do. And so we're kind of getting a very good deal, to be honest with you. Here's the but is that if we open this up to ATV use, they want a lot of these wetland areas to be fenced off. And fencing, I mean, we're talking about, what, 4,000 linear feet? Steve Moore?
Yeah, I don't remember what thought.
Yeah, I think it's a little less than a mile of fencing, which is a lot of fencing. And they also want us to post signs. We're thinking maybe every 200 or 300 feet that says, warning, wetland preserve area, do not, drive in this area, or something, a signage like that. Because the big concern of the district is if we allow ATV use again, they're just going to go forever. They're just going to take their ATVs, and frankly, when it rains, those mud flats are what ATV users love to play around in. Those mud flats are also wetlands. They go in the upland areas, but the district wants to make sure that that fencing and the signage is there so people don't go into those wetland areas. So there's a big cost. I threw the $100,000 figure as a placeholder in the budget. Our engineer is working, he's making phone calls to get a realistic estimate of the cost, but that's the biggie. Our argument to this, my argument would be, we don't want to have security because that's going to be cost prohibitive. And if we do the fencing, that should be enough. Because you're not gonna have 24/7 security. That's cost prohibitive. And so, but again, but fencing is gonna be very, very expensive. The engineer is looking at not just fencing, but the type of fencing. Maybe there's a more cost-effective way. Maybe we can use, railroad ties, throw 4x4s, top wire. There's a lot of different ways in which we can fence the area.
Yes.
We're not just talking chain link fence. And so he's going to look at a cost-effective way in which we can fence out all the wetland areas so that if in the future you allow ATV use, we won't be in the scenario we were a few years ago, which is, people riding in the wetland areas. So it's good news in that I think we're getting close to getting our permit, but I think at some point in time, you as a board are going to need to wrestle with the policy issue of, are you going to reopen the reservoir to ATV use? If you open the reservoir, will it be 7 days a week? Will it be just on weekends? That's a policy discussion you guys are going to need to
Even the amount of
wrestle
people,
with.
because it's not really big, and how many people, and one of my questions, as far as the upland,
Let him finish. And then
Yeah.
we'll ask the
Okay.
question.
Yeah, and so there's another thing where, the district wants us to also put a conservation easement over a 10.8 acre area. This area, see, these are where they want us, I'm gonna push back on that. I don't know why we should do that. I understand why we should preserve this area. I don't understand why we need to preserve this area. And again, by the way, when we preserve this area that I'm pointing to here, we have to do a 5-year monitoring plan. And we have to do what's called transects. We're gonna have to monitor the natural revegetation of wetland species. And if those wetland species don't come back naturally, that's why we have to regrade the area. We also have to scrape it down, so it's a little bit lower. There's water. Those wetland plants don't come back naturally, then we're gonna have to plant. That's very expensive to do that. So we're hoping that we can get away with natural revegetation. They're gonna allow us to do it, which is very good. And that's it. So there's gonna be, for the next 5 years, there's gonna be a cost. There'll be a big cost up front on the fencing to deal with the security issues, and then the monitoring will be an ongoing cost. At the end of 5 years, if everything looks good, the district signs off on it, and we're good to go.
Okay. Thank you, John. We're gonna move forward.
Oh, we're gonna,
We're gonna go through
all the way
this
at the end of
all the
this?
way at the end.
oh.
Yes, it's a big agenda. C, discuss and vote on this, district manager's position, Santana.
Oh, okay. Yes, as I mentioned many times before, and I mentioned here the board, I believe that Ms. Becky Hernandez, she's doing a good job as interim manager. She has shows that she's capable of doing her job. She has the knowledge, she has the experience, she has the know-how. She's been doing it now for how long, Becky?
8 months.
8 months. And she has done a great job. The employees are,
September to March, so 6, 7, 8 months, yeah.
so the employees, I've been talking to them, and they're really happy with Becky as an interim manager. I believe we should assign her as a permanent operation manager with San County Board of District. So I make a motion to assign her as a permanent manager of operation manager for San County Board of District.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor, by Supervisor Santana. The motion is to appoint our interim district manager, Rebecca Hernandez, to our permanent district manager. Do we have a second? There is no second at this time. We're going to move forward.
Let me just say one thing. So if anybody wants, we've got 40 applications. I made one set of copies. I've sent you all an email with a link to those applications. But for those of you who don't links, would you like us set?
I will get my record.
Okay, we're going to move to D, discuss and vote on.
May I say something, Sheriff?
Regarding,
What I said, right now?
with your motion?
Yes.
Can you wait until we're done?
Sure.
Okay. D, discuss and vote on opening the reservoir. Santana, go ahead.
Oh, myself again? Yes, I was gonna, I talked to, Ms. Megan Hernandez. I was gonna make a discussion about the opening. The reservoir, that's very important. The resident of, two Ranch Estates. They told to me, they want to go in there with the ATVs and, they want to be able to rent. That's mainly the only recreational thing that they have to do here. We don't have beaches, we don't have nothing else. So, but already, Mr. John Fumero explained everything how it is right now, so I'm happy with everything I heard from Mr. Fumero. So, I believe we should reopen the reservoir for the ATVs, for the residents of the Ranch Estate to ride the ATVs in there. And that would be a big recreational thing.
So you're putting a motion or you're just leaving it as it is?
So can I put a motion?
You can. That's what you put it on the agenda, that's what I'm asking. Are you gonna leave it with John's process or are you wanting to see?
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the whole process is perfect.
So that's what we're gonna leave it there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But I didn't know that.
That was going on? Okay. So we're gonna move forward to E, discuss and vote on public comments. Board Supervisor Self, go
All
ahead.
right, so sometime back, it was voted on for the constituents not to be able to, speak at the beginning of the meeting. And I think conversation and questions and stuff with the community is very important. A lot of communication is how we're going to build the bond with the community. So my motion is basically before we vote on anything, prior to voting, to give them 3 minutes to speak on what they feel. And maybe they might say something that might make us change our mind or might make us aware of something that we're not aware of. I don't think it's going to take a lot of time. So we burn up most of the time here, but then not so much the community. So my motion is to, prior to voting on anything, to allow the community 3 minutes to speak prior to it, forced voting.
They're allowed to speak 3 minutes of it.
Okay, so we have a motion.
Hold on, let me, so what you can understand. So it's only at the beginning. So like right now, how you wanted to bring up something on the agenda, if there's something you bring up and there's something they maybe want to ask us a question about or advise us of something, they could address us then, instead of at the beginning.
So you mean if we do the meeting?
No, he's saying, so let's say that these, look at this agenda. He's saying when you go, item number 1, discuss and vote on district engineer contract. He's saying, is there any public comment on the contract? No? Then you vote. Then you go to the next item. Discuss and vote on SFWD proposal. Then you open it up again for public comment. If there's public comment, you take it. If not,
Henry County does the same thing. It's as constitutional as you could get, So that's my motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor is to change and change and adopt a new amendment to our public comment and meeting document policy, allowing public comment or concern before after or before?
Well, before we vote. So
Before
we'll-
any,
Yeah, we'll speak about it, and then public comment, and then depending on what all we hear, then we go and we vote.
before any vote. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Can I make a comment before we go?
Yes, go ahead.
That's a great idea. But the biggest concern is the community is not here. It's only, 6, 7 right now, down on the floor. We had a big quorum of community showing up. That'd be awesome for them to listen to us, or to vote on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
But it's, it's sad, they don't come into this meeting. And if you see the same faces I mean, keeping track of the faces and how many.
We are the community.
I understand that, but you're not the only one in the community. What is about 1,000, 2,000, I don't know how many members on the community.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, that's enough, but they need to show up. I mean, I wish would be somebody lying up there waiting to come talk to us.
Yeah, but that's the case, we get all right.
We got,
That's fine.
So,
we got more than that, but, so go ahead and say your comment.
So that's my point. Great idea, but it's.
there's just one thing I gotta say about this. You know, we should worry about the people that do show up, because, you know, they show up here all the time. So, I mean, even if we had 30, 40 people, you know, I've never in my life ever looked at there's 2, 3, 4. If there's one person that shows up to a meeting, you know what, that's great. To say that there ain't enough people, it's like saying, well, no, there ain't enough of y'all to even care to even do that. I mean, you gotta, I'm sorry, but you gotta really think about, so, you know, I love community involvement, and that's one of the reasons why they don't show up, because why wouldn't you want a little bit more involvement with the community? Because they can only speak at the beginning. We start talking, and we might say something, not realizing that we're wrong. They said, hey, Mr. Moreno, you said this or so forth. You know, think about this. It helps us they voted us on here. And I wish we could do a hand raise. Who wants to be able to do that? Raise your hand. There you go. There's the majority vote. I mean, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm not trying to sound, you know, hard about it, but
Would be good ideas to have a bigger group of.
hopefully in the future we can. But this is what we have.
We're gonna continue, E.
Oh, we never finished the motion.
Yeah, we have a motion on the floor, do we have a second?
So the motion is
No.
prior to voting on anything, we have 3 minutes to vote to get their report.
Before any decision on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, there was no second, dies in committee, we're gonna move forward to F. Discuss and vote on paving roads. Ms. Hernandez?
On the front. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Bear Paul's, whole proposal is in here for you guys, okay, with the maps. I did put that in there for you.
Sorry.
I did put the estimates that we did receive, which was Diaz Asphalt. And you guys asked me to get more estimates for the paving and the maintenance of it. I got, through its, a fold paving and also through hers homes, which they do paving as well. If you look at the numbers, Diaz Asphalt, who we've used in the past to do patch-up work, did come in at the lower end of it, and he is part of here or in Lewiston. I did reach out to these other people. They were all right there. So we were talking about the maintenance and kind of preserving what we have already. Like the rest of Hunting Club, Horse Club, which is really bad between 833 and Hacienda.
Yeah.
So, again, this was part of the, this is what you requested. And so some of the money that was not used on the trucks, I was trying to see if we could allocate it to actually getting these roads patched in the severe bad areas.
I don't mean to interrupt. So we have Diaz Asphalt,
Yep.
Affordable Paving, and this
A fold,
one?
that's her.
That's the other asphalting
Yes.
company?
Mm-hmm.
Have these companies all been told the same scope of work? Okay.
Yeah, I took them personally and they measured it out.
Okay. Did we ever reach out, and the reason I'm asking is because I actually spoke with DS Asphalting about doing work for us here privately to do an investigation on his charges. as him being the most affordable one because he's closer, how good is the work that he does on the patch, on the,
Since even before when Cookie had him, the patches are still holding. He does a very good job. And what he's done, it's holding.
Entonces ya voy a Polusa.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
okay.
I mean, the work that has done is holding. So, I mean, again, not just because I did reach out and I did.
Did we try reaching out to bigger companies to seeing about doing a, what's called a yearly agreement of scope of work, that they'll do the same scope of work, and usually as long as we do a payment with that they'll do the scope of work?
I didn't do that because half of them won't even come out here because we're so remote.
Nobody's gonna take that, with
Well,
change the prices.
I'll actually give you the company that we use. They actually pay 27,
Community.
27, no, they're a big company. I think they're called Hancock. I think that's their name. They do asphalting. They did 27 miles of asphalting, and the price was half of that.
Where they at?
They're actually located in Glue. Because we were going to use Diaz, but Diaz is too expensive. So that's the only reason I'm asking. So I think we should give them a shout on that, because to compare their price with his price, if they come up with a different price, or let's see what Diaz says after that. But he did do good work, but we always need to keep them on a fish line. They're not our permanent vendor, especially when we're pouring out 25%, $250,000.
Which, I mean, we still have to compare all the stuff and sit it side by side.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring you the information. So if you have their information, because they don't come up when you put up Hayden in Lewiston. So if you have their personal information for Hancock.
One thing I would like to mention, Chairman, if we repair this road whole time,
No, I'm not saying, yeah, I understand. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
rainy season coming over, and,
as a government entity, we do have tax money that we use for utilities and maintenance repairs. And if we have vendors that have done work for us before, there should be some kind of agreement or a capped amount. Basically, if you're doing the same scope of work with a placement of margin for increase for inflation and the increase of pricing and stuff like that.
saying it's people a discount.
Because I'm not saying they give us a discount. If you compare this price to the previous work that they did, yeah, it changes, it fluctuates. There's not a stagnant, and there should be a place.
I mean, just by reading through the first page, I mean, Diaz is kind of broad, and once you go into Saffold, you know, like the traffic striping, the DOT approved traffic paint, that's not in this, so.
He's not doing that.
So that's what we gotta make sure.
And that's the reason why I wanted to bring it to our attention, is we want to make sure that we're getting the quality work for what we're asking to being done.
Yeah.
If the patches are holding, you know, he's doing great work, but we also want to make sure that if there was striping on the road previously, that the striping is replaced. If there's reflectors, that we're doing it to the Department of Transportation, not just patchwork.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying that.
This one's constructed a lot better, more in detailed conditions. This is just
Throw it together.
not, I mean, and this is a $10,000 difference. I'd take this over this any day.
And that's where I said we have to waiver our bids out with other contractors, because some will give us for a little bit more money, they'll give us better work that the Department of Florida of Transportation would approve of, compared to just fast, easy patchwork. And dealing with, I deal with this at the $1 million level, so that's the reason why I was questioning it, because he was one of my vendors.
It even has payment terms. You pay for half of it to construct, and this one,
Yeah, and bigger contracts, because they have state contracts, federal contracts, and us being a government entity with the taxes, they usually will work out payment plans.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I would like our engineer to look at this too, so we
Yeah.
can
Agreed. Okay, if there's no further questions with that, we're gonna move forward with G, discuss and vote on work hours. Ms. Hernandez?
Yes. I brought up before this, working the 4 days, from 7 to 5, the 40 hours. And you guys have said, come back with something that, can facilitate basically our community, so that we're open 5 days a week. Right now, with the change of time, them working later gives us more opportunity to get the jobs done. Like this last job that we just did, they started at 7:45, they left the yard with everything, and they worked all the way till like 5:30, and we were able to accomplish a lot more, because there's a lot more daylight in the evening. And I did, like I stated earlier, I try to break them up into groups where they work diligently when they're together. If they work together from Tuesday through Thursday, let's just say some will work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and the other group will work Tuesday through Friday. So it accommodates the whole week, and they'll work from 7 to 5, the 2 different groups. And we did accomplish, like I said, when I have them on the specific days they work together, where they're working till 5, it gives us so much more opportunity, again, to finish these miscellaneous projects that we can go back and start picking up. But when we're, this happens and then we're like subject to just this at that present time, our hands are crossed. And I mean, it does give us more time, daylight time to work and longer hours to kind of get things done.
Would you be able to rotate them, if they need, the group will have to be always the same group working?
No, I mean, we could rotate it then. I'm just stating like, if we can get the 7 to 5, like I said, there will be a team from Monday through Thursday and then from Tuesday through Friday. Again, if you guys give me that permission, then there's people that are willing to work from Tuesday through Friday. They don't mind that, and the other ones are willing to work from Monday through Thursday. And it also helps them with their doctor appointments and stuff and not taking time off during this time, during our rainy season.
So let me ask this question. What are our hours now?
From 7 to 3:30. So there's like 3 hours still of daylight time.
Have we
on shore.
ever tried doing 7 to 5 without the 2 group, or from Monday through
That's
Friday?
what we were before, from 7 to 5.
Let me ask you something.
With an hour lunch?
Yes,
And how did
that was
how did
when I first started.
And the board at that time changed it to 7:30 to 3:30.
From 7 to 3:30.
And that was with a 30-minute
That
lunch?
was, you guys were and there was a tie between, and Denise was the tiebreaker. And she said she didn't know what she was voting on.
So what's your lunch now? Is it 30 minutes?
It's a 30-minute lunch, and we get 2 15-minute breaks.
I'll tell you right now.
Well, again, their 15-minute breaks, they take it towards the end of the morning time, and it goes into their lunch time.
Right, but I was thinking, because I know you have your 2 15 minutes.
Right.
And I thought,
But it's too long for them to come and, just like you said, so we pick them up for lunch and everything like that. So again,
yeah.
this, it facilitates their time, and they're willing to stay to finish the jobs. And it helps with the overtime, because we're gonna have 2 teams working those hours.
Let me ask you.
Yes, sir.
If we don't have enough employees, if we divide them into groups, they'll be short to do the jobs that we have to do.
Well, actually, it's not that we're fully staffed right now, okay?
We got 10
There's-
employees in total.
There's,
Not the clubhouse.
there's 9,
Here.
10 with me and
Workers, field workers,
field workers, yes.
apart from y'all in the office.
Yes, and then 3 at the club, because there's 15 of us in total. Yes, sir.
What I'm saying is,
Well, there's 15 of us. Mhm.
if you divide it into 2 teams, then we're gonna have less.
Don't look at it like they're divided.
Well, because
Look at it because
one team is gonna work
it's
some
only,
days,
yes,
another team is gonna work some
yeah.
days.
But remember, during the week, they're all together. They're still all together during the week. It's only, you're looking at it at just one specific group. No, the two groups will work, and again, like I said, you have, the good thing about our group of men that we have working out in the
You said
field.
4 days, 10
Mhm.
hours. You
Yeah.
said 4 days,
Yeah,
10 hours a day.
yeah,
And 2 groups.
yeah.
So how they gonna be together all the time?
Yeah,
What about
because Tuesday through Thursday,
Friday and,
whoever,
One, so they'll be together
3 days out,
3 days.
out of the 4.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. 3 days they're gonna be together. What about the other 2 days?
It'll be one day.
They're gonna be short?
No.
She's proposing a 4-day week, 10 hours each day. So for 3 out of the 4 days they're together, 1 day a week they will not be together.
Yeah, but then Friday, nobody's gonna be doing any job.
Yes.
No, that's why she's breaking them up.
Yeah.
No, I
It's
think,
a cover.
Yeah.
yeah, I think personally, we should do it from 7 to 5, give them an hour lunch, and see how that works. Instead of the 2 15-minute breaks where they're stopping, taking a 15-minute break, getting back to the truck or some machine. I think we should see how that works for a 6-month period. And then if there's no growth from there, then we come back to the drawing table. Because cutting down on another day of work for more hours, no. And if we do change the hours to this, the board has to keep this in mind. There has to be a strict policy. No overtime is allowed unless it's questionable, like a red item ticket, like an emergency. Because if we change our hours now from 7 to 5, and there's overtime, we'll eat through our budget with payroll. So, me personally, I can't make a motion, but I'm advising the board members, the more time is necessary because cities and towns, they open up at that time, but usually the utilities, they don't open until 8 to 9 to giving them that additional time. Go ahead.
How often do they get overtime? I mean, non-rainy season.
During the rainy season,
Non-rainy season.
oh no, they haven't had any, if you look at the budget, we haven't had it until just this week.
No, I used to get the dailies, and I haven't gotten them for a long time.
I haven't.
I know.
She's been scanning them, I'm also in the radio. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we could go to the budget and we could look at
Yeah.
overtime and so forth. It's in the budget, it should tell you every month
Yeah,
how much overtime is, it's in the back. That's one of the things that we voted on doing, to having that change to where we know every month how much overtime is being spent.
Yeah, I think that would be a more productive operation
How many
time.
people come from South Florida, different places on Friday? How many want to come?
the office is
With the
open.
1 hour.
We're not talking about the office.
What they need to?
Even the workers will be, like I said, they're covered, everything will be covered, the whole week.
I agree with you, tell it to fund.
8 to 5. I'm sorry. With the 1 hour lunch. Because it allows them to rest, and then it allows everyone in the community to wake up and then come in. Because I know that during, I call it the rooster times, no one's usually up, the office is usually quiet, and a lot of operational stuff is going slow. But for utilities, they usually open their office at 8. They have their 1 hour lunch and then until 5, because we don't want to lose that dawn. And then we also want to think about the body, giving them that time to rest. They don't have to get up so early, and stuff like that.
When would this take effect?
I think after we make, if the motion gets approved today, I think we should give the management team to debrief the team on the new change, and within a week, we should allow them to adjust to the new time.
Let's give them 2 weeks.
Then we have.
7 to 5.
No, 8 to 5, with an hour lunch.
But then
That's
we lose
9
that-
hours,
we-
not 10.
Then we lose, yeah,
Let's start with that.
yeah. It's 7 to 5 is 10 hours.
8 to 5.
8 to 5.
8 to 5.
8 to 5, you get an hour
It is
and
not
5.
10 hours.
9 hours. 8
It's
to
not
5,
4, 10
1 hour
hours,
lunch.
10.
5 days a week.
They'll be working 8 hours. 5 days a week.
What do you think?
Work 8 to 5, get an hour lunch, 2 15-minute breaks.
Yeah, but you still get 15-minute breaks regardless.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, no, just, again, because we lose a whole hour of sunlight
Which way?
in the morning.
No, this is another question
I mean, again, I'm bringing
We
you
stop
what
all
the
operation,
employees.
we stop all complete operation at 12, from 12 to, let's say, this is theoretical, from 12 to 1 for the whole county, for every single employee.
Yeah.
They're not on rotation, so one group's out there, let's say mowing, one group comes in, eats, and then they flip. Why is that? Why is that?
Why not? It's just your lunch hour. That's just like, again, the ones that are the most important is the office when somebody walks in, that we can attend to them. The employees themselves, I'm giving you something that the employees are requesting. So if you change it to 8 to 5, now you're not considering what they're asking.
Well, we
I'm
have to
just,
make
again-
sure- No, I understand, but we still have to make sure that they're still performing and doing what they're asked of from the board.
Which they are. I mean, they are working. So again, all I'm asking is that trying to obtain more sunlight to get more done. That's,
Yeah, but now,
and to accommodate what you guys requested, I'm breaking it up for the 4 days, with the shifts.
yeah, with all the growth, our office shouldn't be closed on a Friday because a lot of people who are coming in as new
We're not
homeowners.
closing. I'm not talking about the office, I'm just talking about the employees.
But service, we
I'm
know.
talking about the services. The services will still be rendered Monday through Friday.
So when will surveys for coverts be done? Because usually they were done on
Same.
Friday.
They're still gonna be done on Friday.
Okay.
And on Monday, they're gonna be, like, again, the inspections will be taking place also.
Yeah, because now
It
looking at
gives him more
this,
time, it's
Yeah.
just, we didn't have enough time
Because
on
they leave at
Fridays,
3:30.
because, yes, it ends at
But
3:30.
if y'all leave at 5, it should
Then
be
he
more
has, yes, then he has more time to do,
So like the
Yeah,
day to 5,
it's the
they'll have
same.
more time with the
Yeah.
day. In a certain.
Yeah, like,
I'm still trying to wrap what I'm trying to say is, I think, do you guys at this is what I'm asking, do you guys at the reservation at 12 o'clock, every single utility worker stops working?
It depends. So a lot of it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing something that's priority, skip through lunch. If not, you take a 15-minute break if you want. 12, it's your, what it is, it's your designated break.
lunchtime.
So
Now,
not
if the
every-
manager allows, says, hey, we're gonna work through it, we're gonna,
Exactly,
at 1,
exactly.
well, then you come in at 1.
No, but I'm saying at a district level, in maintenance and, utility, at 12 o'clock, does every employee that is working in maintenance and utility stops working?
I don't know, at an industrial level, it's almost like that.
Yeah, because the reason I'm asking is because I thought, this is what I thought, that we had a section of our group, or our men and women who work, stop working, they take their hour lunch.
Everybody?
No,
Or just a half?
just a group of them, a half of them, stop working.
Yes.
They go eat, the rest keep working, and then the other group takes their lunch, so that we don't lose any time of work.
It's gonna be the same either way, because whenever you have one working, not working, it's gonna take place the same. So is that, so if everybody leaves at 12, it's the same thing whether you do it 30 minutes later or 30 minutes after. So
But if we have,
I understand what you're saying, production.
as a whole, but the way our group is working on projects, we have 6 men
Yeah.
working on one culvert. So if all those 6 men stop working on that one culvert for a whole hour, the whole project stops. Instead of, hey, this group of 6 is gonna go to their hour lunch, and another group's gonna go.
The biggest thing that's going on right now is that they leave at 3:30. There's still, another hour and a half, 2 hours.
So they want us to extend the working operation hours.
Because things whenever they leave at 3:30, there's still time, there's still
There's
daylight
still daylight
to
time that
do
we
it. So
can do.
that's the thing about the 7:30 to 3:30 deal. If it was 8 to 5, you're gonna have a little bit more daylight in the afternoon.
What's your new time? What's your time?
It just depends how you look at it. If it's production, if they was producing stuff, we're producing 100 of these, they can't stop.
Is the office open from 8 to 5 or 7 to 7?
From 7 to 3:30,
Yeah.
Monday through Friday.
So there's daylight that could still be utilized, but it's the hours that stops them from utilizing the app. So if they change to 8 to 5, you know.
8 to 5 is a good time.
Okay. We took a lot of time on this, hours. So the proposed from our interim manager, is to do the 4 days from 7
To 5.
to 5. And then I advise we do 8 to 5. We need a motion on either one, and then we're gonna take a vote.
No, you gotta do the one that I propose, and then if it doesn't go through, you
Okay,
guys are proposing 8 to 5, all I do say is consider your employees, because they're the ones with the families and they're the ones that are willing to do the work. That's all I'm stating, because I'm their voice. So again, this is what they proposed, and they're what they're willing, their work right now, whatever you ask them to do,
Maybe at the same time,
even overtime.
maybe at the
Yes.
same time, we have to see what we think is better for the people. That's why we were elected. We were elected.
okay.
I'm not
So
saying,
we're gonna take a vote.
I'm not saying that.
We're gonna take a vote. Hold on, we're gonna take a vote. We have a motion on the floor to go to 4 days from 7 to 5, by our interim manager. Do we have a second? We have no second at this time. We're gonna go to the second motion, is to convert our days from 8 to 5 with an hour lunch. We have a motion on the floor.
Be 8 to 6.
No, 8 to 12, 8 to 12.
That'll be 4 days.
8 to 12.
That'll be 40 hours. 1 hour lunch.
8 to 6. 8 to 6.
No, we're talking about 8 hours.
5 days.
So make a motion.
So we have another motion from 8 to 5, with the 1 hour, lunch. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Santana, all in favor?
Who motioned the 8 to 5?
8 to 5.
You can't motion.
My motion.
1 hour lunch, 1 hour lunch. That's 8 hours.
And they gotta work.
But that's 5 days a week.
So we don't.
No, 8 to 5.
For 5 days.
Yeah, for 5 days.
I'm saying, unless I'm just reading.
Little.
From 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock. From 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock is 10 hours.
No consideration, the heat.
Okay, so that's 10 hours, and they take one off. So that's, they have to work, if you work 8 to 5.
8 to 5 is 9
That's
hours.
9 hours.
9
Then you
hours.
take.
They take 1 hour for lunch, that's 8 hours. 8, 9, 5, 40 hours.
That's 5 eighths.
I'm saying is, from 8 to 6 is a 10-hour period.
That would be overtime for them, you know?
So right
No,
now,
I'm saying physically,
right now,
8 hours.
Yeah,
It's okay, it's okay.
they
Okay,
don't.
so we're gonna move
That's all right.
We're gonna move forward to H, discuss and vote on sign sheet for pool and time limit. Interim manager, Mr. Hernandez?
Nothing happened.
It's not enough.
Okay, going back, you guys were between a motion and a second, and everything went south.
We
Oh, we
already,
approve it.
we already approved it.
No, no.
Originally proposed.
You guys were still talking about time.
Yes, and then we went to the second motion.
No, I said, I asked the question, who motioned it? You can't motion it.
Myself.
So Santana, you're motioning it, okay. That's why I'm asking this, I have to write it down for the record.
With the Roberto second. Yes.
We don't want that.
And then all in favor was the board.
You guys don't listen to employees either.
So the floor is yours for H.
It's okay, it's okay.
We're not doing 10 hours, they're doing 8 hours with an hour lunch from 8 to 5. That's what they're doing.
No, I'm talking about, okay, so you're agreeing it's 9 hours times 4 days.
No, it's 5 days, it's Monday through Friday.
5 eighths.
They're not,
Oh, you're
What I
not going to,
proposed-
you're not going to the 4 days.
no, what I proposed was a 10-hour shift, and they said no.
I'm just saying, 10 hours,
Oh,
8 to 6 is 10
Yeah.
hours.
I was telling you, you know, 5 days.
So, okay, the pool.
No,
Okay, we opened the pool, there is no lifeguards, okay, only on the weekend, all right? And, we've had parents that come, and they'll come in and they'll take their children to the pool, and then they take off when our staff is not looking. I had them take out the children, because I was there present, and I said, you guys cannot be in the pool while your parents are not here. According to, there's certain parents that are bringing their children, and the parents don't know how to swim, and the children don't know how to swim. And there's no lifeguard. And, we just found this out on Saturday. Jesse called me, and he said, couple came in with, I think their child is 5 years old. And again, we knew this was gonna happen though, because again, we put up the no lifeguard, and we make sure, but there's no accountability. I mean, our staff is there and they're watching them, but it's still up to the parent. We're not babysitting. We're not there to take care of the children. They have to stay with their kids, but now you have parents that don't know how to swim. So what do we do then? The other thing is that unless they're showing us their ID, we don't know if they're 18 or not. And that's the other thing.
Don't we have a lifeguard on duty?
It's open to the public. You guys agreed to that. You guys agreed to the signs and make sure the signage is up. And we did everything the board asked, but now we're running into this situation and it just happened. The other thing is that they come in a group and then one is 18 and the other ones are all minors. So I'm bringing it to the board because this is, our community.
Would you have a lifeguard all the time there?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
It used to be like that, so one of the things, how it used to be is a lot of the employees that worked inside was lifeguards, so they used to rotate. You'd have some work inside, some work outside, and at lunch, then they flip. But I don't know, at some point that they kinda got away from that, so what they was doing is utilizing one employee, they got paid a little bit better. They was doing two things, and you always had somebody inside, outside, and,
But we should have a lifeguard all the time.
it would be good if we employed somebody for both, that they could work inside, maintain.
The most important part is that they have to pass the lifeguard
Let's send me to train, let's send me to train.
It's not that easy.
Oh,
You could be a great swimmer, but if you've never done the course,
I used to.
I'm just stating though, if you've never done it, you really have to have good lungs and be able to do it. I'm just stating, I'm not saying that we can't find somebody.
Well, let's train whoever can possibly be training.
I'm bringing this.
That's an old problem
Yeah.
from the past that now becomes a new problem.
Okay.
So if it stayed how it always was, we'd still, right now we wouldn't have this conversation. We'd probably have 4 employees, 2 inside, 2 inside working, 2 lifeguards. Lunchtime they swap to where they're not sitting in the sun all day. But somewhere down the line, that changed.
When I came on board, the only one that worked as a lifeguard was about me, that was it.
She's from the last bit,
Yeah.
but everybody else used to be a dual purpose employee.
I know on the liability standpoint, we're not liable because we do have the signs posted. But I was speaking with our intern manager briefly, this week about something that we do at some of our properties where we have key fobs. We do offer them free to the residents, but if they're visitors, we charge them either $50 for the key fob. They do have some for the kids with their bracelets. And on the system, you completely lock the pool in with a gate. The only way in and the only way out is a key fob. If you open the key fob for you and 6 other people and they break something while you're in there, you're liable for it because you were documented on there. And it says it all on our signs that your key fob is the way in and the way out of the pool. In case of emergency, push the emergency bars. But we tell everybody when going to the pool, we're not liable for anybody who can't swim because we don't pay for lifeguards. And we've had cases where people have drowned. And because we do have the posted signs and because we do have the key fobs, it eliminates the liability factor from us as an entity, and it pinpoints who was there, what time they were there, when did they go into the gate, if they left, or if they're still in the pool. I think that's something that we should adopt because everyone has to register with the office or the clubhouse. So if the office if we were to approve that, the system is they come in here with their ID over the age of 18. If they're a parent and they have minors that they would like to go in the pool with, they also do get basically a key fob bracelet or a key fob. indicating that if they go with mom or dad or whoever, they just tap it on the system and the system documents who they're there with. The system helps us organize how many people are actually going into the pool. And then it also helps us document who's in the pool, at what time, how long they've been there. You can also set it up on timers. Like one of our biggest properties, we have, it's an hour and 45-minute timer for swimming. So once the timer goes off, it alerts like on the little LED screen, your time has ran out, please exit the pool. So they have to get out and hit basically exit out the gate, hit their key fob, and then usually they always go back in, and that's something that we can regulate, but this is a system that I think we should adopt. It's not costly, the system. The only costly part is the fobs themselves. They do get kind of costly, so what I was proposing to Becky was if they get their first key fob, every landowner gets one. If they happen to lose it, they have to pay for the replacement, and the replacement is $50.
Yeah, so the issue at hand right now is that there's no lifeguards. The key fob thing would probably work.
Well, during the week there's none, but now during the weekends we do
But
have.
what ends up happening is like the 3 guys that are working there, none of them know how to swim. One starts, he falls in, and the other two's like, it's like then you can't imagine sitting there watching one of the workers drown because you have people that don't know how to swim.
I believe we should hire an officer.
So maybe moving forward now, maybe see if one of the guys that are there now wants to get certified. And then, because what ends up happening is that if they're there, if somebody drowns,
I know.
somebody's got to do something, and if they all say, well, we can't swim.
Well, there's only one that doesn't know how to swim there. But the other 2 are very good swimmers, our staff.
I mean, if we
And
get,
they are CPR trained and, you
So
know.
let's send those 2 for training.
They're not certified as lifeguards, but they do, you know.
yeah, I mean,
I will offer it to them and see if they would like to do
I
it.
mean, if the board thinks, I mean, it used to be like that, it worked great for many years. Once they took that out, now we're here. Now we have no lifeguards, we have literally people swimming, even though we don't have the liability.
Chris, let me refresh. It was taken out, like we didn't, the board approved for that not to happen, or was it the manager at that time that just never implemented?
No, I'm not talking about now. Back then, all the employees that worked at the clubhouse.
They were dual enrolled?
Yeah, except for one guy, which was Jose. He was, he was an acting manager at the time. It was him and I think it was 4 other workers. It was like 5 or so, maybe 4. But either way, there's always 2 inside watching the kids, making sure everything's fine. But they still had the lifeguard outfit because at 12 o'clock or lunchtime, they swap. It gets the lifeguard out of the sun, go inside, interact with the kids, and then the ones inside go outside, and that's how they finished off their day. They still had the same job title, had to clean, had to do the park, and so on. But it worked a lot better because there's always somebody in the pool, 7 days a week.
Okay, so that's what you're going to be proposing to the board for a motion, is to bring that back with the.
No, we were just
Should bring
talking
it up
about
the concern.
the concern
Yeah, we have to.
about them signing in and us being able to ID them.
I wanted to make a motion for we should have a lifeguard there. While the pool's open all the time.
We can't do that, it has to be added onto the agenda, but we can make an amendment. There can be an amendment to this motion. It's discuss and vote on sign sheet for pool and time limit. That is something, that was why I was referring the IDs, because that's, the system would do it itself. That's why I referenced that. That's the only amendment. Chris's proposal is the same as yours, and I think that's great, should be brought up.
Yeah, it'd be good, like, before we even go that direction, see if anybody at the clubhouse wants to do that, because there's no point in trying to go outside if we could get somebody in there. So, you already have 3 guys.
I like you saying.
If the other 2 just wants to get certified, it'd be great. And then
Well,
start from there.
Okay.
Didn't the board vote for another employee,
There's a couple, there's 2 part-time.
So if you get 2 part-times, maybe you can make 1 full-time, then go back to 4. I don't know, maybe it might be too much. We just have to look at it, but just throw up an idea, so we can do 2 and 2 to where there's 2 in, 2 out. I mean, we're paying for 2 part-time, if we could get a full-time and then just do 2 and 2. And then, I don't know how the hours would be figured out, but we could kind of build off of that and try to go back to that, because it worked very well for many years.
So with that being said, the motion is to discuss and vote on sign sheet for pool and time limit. I need a board member to,
What's the second
support
one?
that. I think that's something she will discuss with us on a later time, or do you have the time limit for them being in the pool?
We're not. Do not, if it's a full, again, if the pool is full at 40 capacity on a Saturday or Sunday, because that's when everybody tends to come, give them a limit of either an hour to be out in the pool, so whoever's waiting, they know, listen, in an hour, come back, you can come in. And if the other people want to wait out an hour and come back, and switch them out. The thing is that if you go to a public pool anywhere, they're gonna tell you it's an hour limit, and you can come, if there's nobody waiting, you can stay. You gotta sign back in. That's my suggestion. I said that in the last time, I think it was back in March, when I brought this up about the time frame in regards to the pool. Because some people wanna be there all day. The other thing that, they mentioned was that they're coming in regular, like, cups,
Bringing alcohol?
but they're bringing alcohol and you can smell it. And, yeah. So, I mean, we gotta do something, because again, there's children, yes, I know there's the family, they wanna hang out, but there's no alcohol allowed on our premises, you know?
So how do they handle that with alcohol? Like if they go to somebody they know that there's alcohol, they kick them out, or they just?
They haven't said anything, that's just the thing, you
Is there
know,
a sign that says,
no
if
alcohol.
alcohol will be removed from the premises?
All right. Tells you no diarrhea and everything.
Yeah,
Seriously, it's got all kind of stuff.
so, I mean, I'm just, again,
Okay, so can we have a motion for an hour time limit, and a sign-in sheet?
if it's full. If it's not full, they could stay, you know, whatever time that they're there. It's just to have control for the staff that's inside with the rest of the group that's waiting.
And this would be solely on the lifeguards to regulate, stay on top of, and
Well, our staff, the staff that's there with the lifeguards on the weekends is the one he'll be there monitoring. He's the one that's monitoring, throughout the weekend as well.
inside.
Because the lifeguards will be at the pool, attending to the people at the pool.
Right.
He'll be the one that'll be kind of, you know, going back
Somebody
and forth.
inside would be the one,
Correct.
but I guess they'll go call, like, who's
Yeah.
for yourself? Raise your hand. You gotta get out.
Yeah.
Yes, that's-
If there's people waiting, if there's not, then we don't have to worry about it. It's what I'm stating. It's only when it gets maxed. Because there was people that were waiting, in the during the summer that they brought it up. They brought it up. There was people literally waiting for hours in the clubhouse, waiting for people to leave because they were maxed at 40. And then the ones that were inside waiting were upset because they wanted to enjoy the pool as well. And they were there with their families. So it wasn't fair that, you know, they had to wait for somebody to leave, and most of them was going to the bathroom and coming right back.
Okay.
So is there a way we get something drafted up to where there's no, because right now this is just kind of say.
Yeah.
So this vote, you wanna push it for next month's meeting?
I think so, where we draft it up, and I know that we could, but as long as we draft it up and we kind of see it, we say, okay, this seems sensible, this doesn't, it just, where there's a plan, so we
Yeah.
just.
And that's why I brought it up, because again, this is the second time. And we need to do something.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward into staff reports. All staff members go through all your report, and then at the end, the board member will ask you any questions.
Oh, we forgot to talk, I had a question about.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Chris, go ahead.
It's just about the uplands, so on the uplands, can we enhance trails, open trails, or there's,
Yes.
because a lot of that's just a bunch of palmettos and pine, and there's no trails to there, so what they're gonna do, they're gonna go around. So I was just asking you, if we did go that direction, if we could go on there and enhance it, make new trails.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea, because again, we want to incentivize them to stay away from the wetlands, so we create some nice trails. And you can do it in the uplands, you can do whatever.
That,
Okay,
It's more money too.
perfect. So we're gonna go to our staff report. A, interim district manager, Rebecca Hernandez.
We have, I've been working with Ovid in regards to the resilient grant, and I spoke about this briefly, about us obtaining the funding, sooner than, later. I gave you guys the bids for the asphalt, the Henry County, grants. I've involved, Steve, our engineer, on this, and we're working together on, they want one more, procurement process for the two that they already have for this grant, and we were talking about it earlier today. The pumps, all our maintenance, they're running them weekly to make sure that everything is running properly and accordingly. For our rainy season that we're coming into now, maintenance canals. We're still on 4, we're just west, going down Granja and Avenida del Sur. And then the new roller will be delivered August 22nd. The levee, we maintenance the levee, the washouts. We've had several dead animals that we've had to remove in this last month. Also, the bulk trash is just out of hand.
Not seeing a lot of that.
Yeah, it's just out of hand. We literally stop. We have to stop what we're doing because they're dumping it in the middle of the road. And that's another thing that detains us from doing our regular maintenance. And, it's horrible. And there is a property where they have thousands of tires and a U-Haul truck. And it's like they start disappearing from that property onto our properties.
Are they the same locations or are they just different?
Different locations.
Go ahead.
But different locations, just so you know. You see the culvert replacements of what we've done, Avenida del Sur with Granja, Canal 5, Camino Real, and Berta to the east, Canal 6, Forest Club, and Berta East, and Utopia West. Rebuilding of the roads, Camino Real and Olivo South, Bald Cypress, and Treble North. And we prepped Olivo North on Bald Cypress. Dirt roads, these are just roads that we're patching up to kind of get everybody going. Bald Cypress and Treble North was what we started at the beginning of the month. Olivo North and Bald Cypress, Jeanette and Bald Cypress North perimeter between Quebrada heading south, west, to Romero. And Kennel from Hunting Club, Montura, all the way up to Pinecone, we went through just doing patch up so we can alleviate some of that stuff that's going on in Kennel. We do have that other grant that Aaron did for us, and we're just waiting on a response on that. The 30-hour training for OSHA, they're working on that. And the boom mower, we stopped on Mayoral between Montura and Hunting Club. The mowing through Montura, currently they're on Camino Real. Like I said, bulk trash is horrible. Permits, we've had 32 new permits and 106 existing. That's for inspections and open permits. So, the pool, like I said, is now open. And summer camp, we're getting ready to start, which is gonna be on June 10th. I've done all the background on the staff. I'm just waiting for the backgrounds to come back to actually send you guys the applications. A lot of our staff that worked last year reapplied, so, which is good, because the kids already kind of know the staff, and we have new staff. So, I say staff, but it's tentative until I get the background check so I can forward it to you guys. And I did have 2 people interviewed for the part-time position at the clubhouse. I'm doing their fingerprints right now, we just did them. And until I don't get the results, then I will forward you guys the applications so you can see who they are. Okay? I just tend to do that first before I send it, because if they fail, it's not,
Okay, we're going to move into our engineer report.
Okay. Glad to finally make my first meeting. Sorry about the last one. So this month I had reviewed and approved 8 electric permits. Been talking to Bayer, biological consultant, Jonathan Mayer, about finalizing submittal for water management district. I do have all of everything that needs to be submitted, be submitting that tomorrow to the water management district. Bear supplied that all to me. And from the last meeting, I had these things on the last meeting, and just looking for direction from the board on what, which direction you want me to do. I talked to Rebecca, and, she was talking about preparing a master plan for the clubhouse, all the areas around there. I'll just go through these and then we can discuss them. Look at construction of the pool barn to store items during the winter. Look at the foundation. I talked to Larry Bennett. He had an engineer go and inspect, but could not gain access underneath. There's some tiles broken inside. Something is settling or whatever. And I can follow up at the board's direction. I am not a structural engineer, but I do have people that I could reach out to if you're interested in taking a look at that. I hate to say, I don't know exactly what is at the clubhouse. It's not a septic system. But, my question is, do we want to look at putting a proper septic system out there? Drain field and a septic tank. Because what's out there, I don't know how that got there, I don't know how it got approved, but.
You can assume it's not.
It wasn't engineered. No, sir. And we also talked about replacing the chemical room in the bathroom. There's a lot of damage in there from the chemicals. And the mail room. That's a mess. I would hate to get mail here. Because from what I understand, a lot of it gets damaged because of it's open and all this kind of stuff. And again, I don't know that I'm the right person to look into that. And and I was talking to Rebecca, need to prepare a proposal for the pump station 13. So, looking for y'all's direction.
All right, we're gonna move over in, John, do you need to do your treasurer's report, or that was already done with the budget
I
workshop?
should tell you one thing.
Okay.
That, our main expenditure report, I had y'all take it out and probably take it home with you when you take the budget with you. But the good news is that the total expenditures for 7 months are under budget by $142,000. So we're actually 7% under budget on our expenditures. That's a good thing. If you want any more detailed discussion, you can do it. I would suggest taking that with the budget.
Yeah, we went over that in our regular business workshop. We're gonna move forward to our attorney. Welcome back, John, long time no see. Go ahead, John.
There's always an attorney here.
Yes, there is.
So, let me ask you a question before you
Yes,
start.
just one.
This one?
Go ahead.
Are you going to continue working with us?
Yes. No, so I have other work too, and I was working on the Village of Wellington, a very big project that those meetings were in the evening, and they just happened to be on the same days, but I'll be back.
Oh, that's good.
And I appreciate, I know Daniel missed me deeply, I'm here, it'll be okay. But yes, no, it's just, I had other conflicts.
That's good that you were
Yeah.
continuing.
Okay, let
And
us,
Steve, by the way, just so you know, Steve, a lot of the day-to-day work for the district, Steve has done.
He's a good man, he's a good man.
He's a very good guy, but he's done for the last 2 years. He does most of the work, just because I've got a lot going on now. But, so we, drafted the legal services agreement for the district engineer. The mailbox, I know I missed a lot of, but Steve told me a lot of discussions. And I hope you all check I know Chris does, I think Daniel does. I'm not sure if you guys check your emails regularly, your district email, because I send you things. So I sent you a lengthy research on the mailboxes. And, I found that this issue has come up and has been addressed, and it's something that's not within the authority of the district.
What do you mean it's wrong with me?
You didn't read my email.
No, I agree with you, but let's call the lady in charge of the US mail in Cleveland.
Let
She told me, yeah,
She knows nothing.
him
She
continue.
knows nothing.
Let our attorney continue.
I'm the expert, she knows nothing about this agency. You can
She's
quote
in charge.
me. You
She's
can
in
quote
charge.
me. No, she's in charge of nothing here. She's in charge of the post office.
or the Cleveland US,
So you should be asking the woman that says, post office on her shirt, why aren't you helping us with our mailboxes? That's her business. Look behind you. Look at the word, water district, water district. That means we deal with the water. That's why Central County, not post office district.
yeah, but we have
She's from the
residents,
post
we
office.
have residents within the district that then receive mail
Yes.
from the US mail.
Yes, but you see, you didn't read, in my email, I said, this is a terrible problem. I'm not terrible. It's sinful that this has gotten to the condition it's in. However, it is not something that we can do, just like we have problems with emergency services. Terrible in this community. It's disgusting,
So we're going,
but it's not in our jurisdiction.
Where do you get that information from?
Well, if you had read my email, I attached Attorney General opinions where other water control districts had asked similar questions. And the Attorney General of Florida said, and you know, it's a waste of time. I have a letter here. I have a draft Attorney General request for an opinion. But I will bet you $1,000 right here in front of everyone, $1,000 with you, I'll bet you $1,000 that the response will be Central County Water Control District cannot spend money on rehabbing and maintaining post office facilities. That will be the answer. I guarantee it.
So that's,
$1,000.
that's the
So-
expect to get.
Let John
So,
continue
and
his
we
report.
can do it. So, and again, that's not to say it's a bad problem. We have sent letters to congressmen. I've drafted the letters to Diaz-Balart and other people. It's incredible that this community doesn't have those facilities. But again, if we spend money on everything that this community needed, you need to do another tax increase. Police, code enforcement, emergency services, school bus benches, and I mean, the list is this long, but this is unfortunately,
Or,
this is
you want to make
unfortunate.
it to a municipality?
Let him
Please,
finish, let him
so-
finish his report.
Please,
Go
please.
ahead, John.
So also on Indeed, so I gave somebody that there's 40 district manager applications. Steve sent you a link so you can go start looking at them. You know, we're still receiving applications, but as of last week, we had 40 applicants. And that's it.
That's it.
And we've been working, of course, with Becky on the grant stuff. And,
Okay, we're gonna
Can
now,
I say
open-
something?
hold on, we're now gonna open the floor to Supervisor, Self. If you'd like to ask any of our,
I would like to say something
hold on,
about
we're gonna go in this order.
post office.
Yeah, we're gonna go in this order and then you'll get time to ask him. If you have any questions, anything for any of our, staff members.
Yeah, so, Mr. Dom. Yes. Mr. Bennett, I'm not sure if he was paid. I believe he was in the staff gauges, and he was supposed to have them, but something I kind of been bringing up for a while.
Yeah.
Because the issue is that, I don't know, times before, the pump or the water has been pulled all the way down to the mud. And one thing that I was explaining to the manager is that once you start doing that, you're pumping a lot of the water table, and you're never gonna, if it's at 30, if they have a staff gauge, if it's at 13, they pull it down to 12, and it jumps right back up to 13, they're fine with the water table, and plus whatever the surface water is, so they can kind of calculate that stuff on. That's something that would be great for us to have at all the pump stations. I think we're already paid for it. That's one thing that needs to get going.
Okay.
The other thing is that new pump station 13. I don't know if there's an area of where it's going to be located exactly. If there's a way you can get that to the board where we can see where it's going to be.
Okay.
John, short list. You going to do the short list too, or?
yes.
Because I know there's a lot of people in there.
How much longer do you want to keep this open? It's really, Whenever you say, go out the wall, then I'll review and do a short list.
I mean, we can't vote on it now. Next meeting, we'll bring it up and do the short list, if everybody agrees to it, and, I mean, there's, going through, there's, you know,
So you guys know, this is, in general, forget about, in general, even if you're in downtown, job market right now is, every employer will tell you, the number one challenge in any business today is hiring reliable people. So I have looked at these and it's,
John, no.
it's not there.
Chris, are you done? Are you done? I'm just. Okay. Vincent, go ahead.
First,
No, I'm ready, go ahead. I'm good.
okay, so one thing I want to mention to Mr. Romero. The Attorney General of the state of Florida, if you want to tell me that about the post office.
Yes, you can ask the Attorney General for their opinion on our authority.
But the person who is in charge of the U.S. Postal Office is not Attorney General.
Right?
It's the U.S.
Correct.
government. So we
Yes.
should go and talk to somebody in a high position of the U.S. government, some big person in the U.S. Postal Office, I'll find out well. That person should have prior knowledge.
Knowledge of this district, of this agency, no.
No, oh, your responsibility. Which I went there, I spoke to the lady in charge of the U.S. Postal Office in Cleveland. And she told me it was our responsibility.
So, Mr. Santiago, I learn new things every day. Has she shown you?
I don't want to go against you.
Has she shown you a piece of paper? Besides it's her opinion. Is there something that we can look at where she says why?
She said that she knows who she found out. All these trouble that we have been going through. She find out who were hired out.
Okay.
The U.S. Postal Office.
Can she give us a letter, an email?
I don't know, I'm gonna go and talk to her again.
Because
She told me if we don't do something about it, she will close down the mailboxes. And then all the residents of Ventura Ranch Estates have to go to town to pick up the boxes and all the mail. I want to put this on record there.
Yeah.
We do something about it. The U.S. Postal Office is going to close down the mailboxes. And all the residents of Ventura Ranch Estates have to go
So,
to Houston to get the mail and the boxes.
so has anyone, because again,
I believe they told me,
in my email, I recommended that in many places in Florida, the county is responsible, and I recommended in the email that you consider talking, because that is.
I told Commissioner Amon, Iglesias, the commission,
And,
he said, I'm gonna go. That's what he told me.
yeah, it's true, they're not responsible like we are, water district. However, they have the ability, because they have home rule authority, they can do post office facilities, and I can show him many counties that have built post office facilities for their residents. But I can't find one water control
So I'm
system.
gonna call Mr. Ramon Iglesias again.
Yes.
I'm gonna talk to him.
He knows we told him.
Or I'm gonna go to the commissioner of Henry County.
Yes,
I'm gonna bring it up.
yes.
As a resident.
Huh?
As a resident.
Yes, as a resident. I was a future candidate from Henry County, commissioner, district number 5, which I'm running. That's why I'm running, for commissioner, Henry County, district number 5. I want to make a difference. Okay?
Are you done? Are you done with your?
No. Please. One more issue, thank you, sir. I don't want to go, I don't want to talk to
And
you.
I'll talk to that woman too, if I'm happy to talk.
I'm gonna bring her name, I forgot her name, I'm gonna get her name,
I will.
and phone number to you.
Yes, sir.
I want to bring up the subject that I want to bring up the subject now, that I've been bringing all the time. Is a school bus stops, okay, shelters,
It's really.
okay? I believe we should have shelters for the school bus stop off all Henry County. All Henry County. Because I know I am candidate for Henry County, Commissioner of 55. I am concerned about 55. I know that's part of my agenda. I want to build bus stop shelters for the school children. Because I've been going around. Okay? I am a volunteer with the church for 4 years. As a volunteer, I go around most of the time, the East sector. I go around the whole county. And I see children getting wet. I see children 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, right there in the corners, all dark. They don't have no shelters. Come on. It's in the United States of America. We should put shelters for school children in the buses. I've been bringing this up, so we do something about it. We haven't done nothing about it in 4 years. Always excuses. More likely the same excuses that we get from the post office. Oh, you know, responsibility, you know. I even bring here the school superintendent with the children. What we talk about. So I'm going to continue talking about that. And I believe the school children, bus stops, they should have shelters. So they will be protected. As well, snakes, the elements. That's it.
I do have a couple questions for our intern manager. The debris that's found throughout Montour, are we reporting it to the sheriff's office?
I have you been to the pictures with addresses of the trash? And they come out, they made that little report.
Case card?
But at the end of it all, if they've been evicted and it's the landowner cleaning it up, you can't do anything about it. You have to catch them at hand doing it.
I apologize. So for your particular case, we have to have probable cause that somebody did it. An address is a place to start, and you're talking about the hacienda.
That was one of them. That was one of them, yeah.
So we have to have a place where it starts, but when you go there, nobody's there, or you find out it's been sold, and you can't find anybody who's actually gone and who cleaned it out. So I hired a company. Okay, what company? Well, now nobody at the company answers. I can't just say, oh, this company did it, they're going to jail. Or now that you bought the house, you're going to go to jail because it's on the street.
So the follow-up question I have for you, Lieutenant Norwood, is if we have our detectives at CID investigating where the tires came from, because we had this issue. We had this issue in 2021 where we had a dealership in Clueston dumping trailers and trailers of tires. And the reason why we pushed on the subject of the illegal dumping was because the business owner of that dealership was actually ticketed, and the state of Florida got involved with him illegal dumping.
Yes, and they revoked his license.
Yeah, so I know that if we're reporting every claim of illegal dumping here, there should be some kind of evidence for our detectives to look into where it's coming from.
Well, not always, and then sometimes you run into the issue. One of the ones we thought we had somebody red-handed, completely a civil matter, because he brought the tires to a house. They broke the lock, went inside. We made contact with the owner of Miami. The owner of Miami gave them, or his niece, permission to be on the property. That no longer becomes a law enforcement matter. It's a civil matter until the state of Florida's DEP gets involved and says, like you had a junkyard out here one time, the DEP turned in because they flew over, FWC took over the Department of Environmental Protection for Florida, and DEP flew over and said that's criminal. They opened a case and dealt with it. That tire, the one tire is a civil matter. The other thing we run into is what properties are you talking about? If you're talking about your roads, I can deal with it. I have you saying you didn't get permission. If they're going into a vacant property that has no fence, and I can't get a hold of the owner to say that, I have no crime. I can take a report, but if they go and drive down a road and go into a vacant lot, the owner hasn't even paid taxes, because nobody can find them. There's nothing I can do. And y'all are not the only community that kind of deals with it. We have land here that people pay taxes on a yearly basis, auto pay, and never ever, they forgot they had it. So if I don't have an owner to say I didn't give them permission, then I have no problem.
You gotta have a victim.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Your roads,
Yeah.
you own them, you control them. Your canal banks, you own them, you control them. Even as easements, I can do something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like I said, they have reported it, but.
And then my follow-up question is for our new engineer. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
It had to do with your report in regards to the master plan for the clubhouse. Now, I don't know if the office has provided him the list of projects that was pre-approved by the board. Meaning if our district manager passed that on to you from our previous engineer. Because there was some projects that were approved, and we want to know where they're at with them. Have we started them, blueprints? Because if we haven't, if you can incorporate them into your master plan, whenever the board looks at that decision. That's in regards to the lights, the baseball field, the pool barn that he has here, that's why I didn't state that, and then that trail that we were supposed to make, the exercise trail.
Well, and that's where I asked for permission from the board to have an engineer so we can come up with a plan to integrate all this, because we did not want to go spending money.
No, absolutely, and that's why I'm asking him if those approved things were told to you, because I didn't see them here minus the
They
board.
weren't put in there, because again, like I said, the most important part of this is the structure of the clubhouse. And so, again, if we're gonna do a pool barn, where are we gonna put it? If we want, where we focus on recreation, but at the same time, there's a bigger monster in the picture, which is the structure of our clubhouse, which leads to the pools as well. And which was another thing I forgot to mention, because I did get a quote, and you guys have it, from Rock Pool, that did the other pool, if you've seen that, okay? For the small walking pool. And the lights and everything else. So, and like I asked, if we could do it in phases. So, in those phases, it's what's gonna phase out. Something that's more important, the septic system, the pool house, and the structure of the clubhouse. So, I mean, everything else, to me, needs to be on the back burner until we can come up with a master plan and integrate, that's everything.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
So when he comes up with the master plan, that those
Everything will be
projects will be in there.
integrated, you know, with what we want for our community. And of course, you guys will be like, hey, so why don't we do this or that? But we haven't even gotten there, because you guys just gave us permission to obtain an engineer to be able to help us start raising something better for our community.
Thank you. And then John, the other thing was, on the applications that we have on Indeed, are we asking the applicants, do they have any water management experience or certifications? And if they don't, or district manager certifications through the state of Florida, and if they don't, I know Indeed will automatically not show you their application. Have we filtered those out?
So, no, because you can make something a requirement, or you can make it a preference. It's a preference.
So if we wanted to make it a requirement, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the board did make that very present, that they wanted that as a requirement.
Yeah, so the way, that's the way you want to do it. A lot of times also you can, when you hire somebody, you say, we expect you in the next 12 months to obtain this certification to keep your job. But you can make that, you can say, it's a prerequisite.
Yeah, we're going on almost.
You cannot apply unless you are certified.
Yeah.
Man, you can do that.
Because in a couple months,
Nobody.
60 days?
None
60
of
days?
the applicants are certified.
No, I'm saying in 60 days, you'll be a year.
In August.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is because the board is in not a deadlock. Sometimes the vote is either deadlock or the vote is 3. And some of the applications, because I actually went on Indeed with a couple of my team members and we found the application, and nowhere on there does it state anything regarding water management experience, district management experience. certifications or anything like that. It's just a district manager. So anyone who has worked in any field of district managing can apply for that.
We vote on that.
And I went back to some of our meetings and I reviewed the notes in those meetings. I heard the board member, many of the board members here saying that we want people who are certified and have licensing to oversee the district's operation. And if we don't find one with that, then that's when we would venture out. But we're going on a year now that our intern's been our manager, and the board has not.
Out of the 110 applications that have been submitted in the last year, 0 have been certified FASD.
So they don't qualify, they don't qualify.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find it, but the thing is that that's something that even, Central County's never had one. I don't know how many water districts send their managers to do it. I mean,
We had Flacco.
but that's the thing, this is the first time, so, I mean.
It is, I mean, I go to the conference every few years, and there are, you won't find any in this area. It's, most districts,
There's only 2.
they want them to be
Yeah, but I mean,
certified.
that to be district managers certified, you're not gonna find any.
No.
If there's only one, it's gonna be.
Or at least to be, not to cut you off, but at least to be on there stating that within a time frame of if they do get the position,
Right.
that they obtain the
That's in
certificate.
job description.
Yeah.
She's qualified,
Because
you have experience, she's doing a good job. Why you guys, vote for her to be permanent operation manager of Central County Water Company? She's a woman? That's why?
so, as I was,
No,
as I was,
tell you
no, I
what
understand.
I think, I have the right to say what.
Yeah, but let me finish my report.
She's a woman?
So as I was saying before, as I was saying before,
Wow.
I think those things should be stated in the application process, of us looking for a district manager. And regardless of the outcome, it should still give us, the board, the approval to say, okay, here's our odds and this is what we're looking at, compared to bringing in day-to-day applicants, because yourself and Stephen has said the same thing every time we get applicants, that your council doesn't think that the applicants are good. And when I hear that, then what's the point of us even looking into them? And then that is for that, and then the rest of my report has to just do with Central County as a whole. I don't know if you guys have been to the mailboxes recently, but we've had someone who damaged the mailboxes that were given to us as a donation. I think they damaged them out of spite due to all of the circumstances with the mailbox. And this is just a reflection of what we say that happens here in Montura regarding our taxes. I don't know who has done it. I've asked numerous amount of community members if they know anyone to report it to Central County so that we can report it to the sheriff's office. And a lot of the pushback that I get from a lot of the constituents is, why don't we have a bigger mail service or mail room here? I did tell them in our past couple meetings, the board has been fighting that fight and getting them a mailbox. And then the second thing was the sheriff's office present here in Montura. And some of them also have a concern about that. If that can happen in front of the clubhouse, what can happen at their house? And stuff like that. And then just safety overall of the county for fire and medical. Something that I also looked into with the supervisor of elections in Montura, we have more registered voters here than anywhere else in the county. Do they go out and vote? No. But if we can team up to fight this fight against, our upcoming elections for county commissioner and people who do reside here in Montura and fight the fight for Montura, to giving us back what is ours, and I mean by our taxes. Hendry County increases our taxes every year, and they don't have no stopping it. The sheriff's office increases their budget since 2020, and there's still not a central district out here for deputies. The deputies do say that they're out here, but if you pull GPS, they only come out when there's calls. You can ask for the records and record. So there's no presence of that. Also EMS is not out here either. I did see the truck there the other day, but it's not a permanent thing like Clewiston and LaBelle. And a lot of our constituents are wondering, why do we pay all this money in taxes, but we don't get no emergency vehicles and services? And the fire trucks. I know they got one donated by another department, but every other fire department here and EMS received brand new rigs. So I don't think that's fair to hear us in Montura, and I think it's time that we all stand up and vote against some of these people who have been in office that don't fight for us, because they do get complacent in their position. And like I tell everybody, I'm easily replaceable, but you want someone who's gonna fight the fight and tell you the truth and not gonna sugarcoat it. And when it comes to our taxes and when it comes to what we need here in Montura, that's something that needs to be done. But since there's no further questions or statements from the board.
Real quick, I put this in your folder. Action equipment from LaBelle, where we got the golf cart from. They are offering to do a raffle. The winner will be announced in our Christmas event, to raise the funds towards our summer camp for the kids in our community. So the tickets would be sold, they will be selling them. They will give us a check in our Christmas event, presenting it to Central County for our community. They will be out at our soccer tournaments providing Gatorade and the tickets, and we have nothing to do with it. They will do it, and then they will give us the funds, and this is what they're raffling. Is a ZT Avenger, brand new, I think it's 5460 zero turn. It's pretty nice, and they service it and everything. So he's offering it to our community, to be a part of our community. He's also a paramedic on the that comes out here to Montura. Caleb, yeah. So, I thought it was awesome, people are actually looking this way towards us, our community. And, so we'll be working with him with a flyer and to make sure that, we have nothing to do with money, it's them. They'll give us a check and they will announce the winner at the Christmas event.
We can buy tickets through them.
Yes, it'll be directly through them. Who's gonna give me all the information? So I'm gonna help them set up the flyer, and then,
Put it on our website.
yes, I'm gonna put it on our website and everything, so.
Since that's everything, I adjourn this meeting. Thank you everyone for being here today.
Can I talk?
Because I'm gonna say something.
Fire department, lead,